How's it going, y'all? Philip here. So today, got a little treat. We're going to be going through how we made our own wine at home with this winemaking kit. You can see we got the directions right here and all of the things that we got. So I'm going to just walk you through that. We have the carboy there, big jug just to ferment the wine in. Got a little siphon, and then it came with those French oak chips, the kit we got. And separately here, we have a one-way air valve to let the fermentation gases out. And I got a little adapter there as well. So you'll see I'll get it in there later. It's really tight fit, but that allows it to sit on this carboy that we got. So perfectly just like that and keep a nice tight seal. And it ends up being very tight later on. Difficult to get off. Then we ended up getting some other things. We won't need these till the end, but we got some bottle corks there, and then some little foils to put over the top to make them look nice. And then this was the kit itself. The wine juice that you saw laying on the table came in that. So this is a medium-bodied wine kit. And then we have a corker there. And at the top there, we have a few other things. But yeah, right here we have a adapter for our drill to spin the wine so we don't have to manually stir it. Then here we got a specific gravity measurer to measure the sugar content in the wine before and then afterwards to see what level of alcohol we have in our wine. And then over here we have another jug. This is optional, but we just have some cleaning solution in there. And then another jug there. You'll see we're going to transfer it back and forth a bit. This was just an example. I printed out some stickers to put on our wine bottles, and that's what it should look like at the end. So yeah, just a little preview there. We were playing around with it, getting excited before we started. And I got two different wine bottles as well, one darker and one clear. Again, we're just trying different things at this point. It's our first time doing this. So kicking it off here, grabbing the first packet. So it's all pretty straightforward. They give you different packets that you're supposed to pour in to help keep the wine clean. So traditional winemakers, you might hear them say, oh, just use the grapes and the skins and it'll ferment. And yes, while that does work, we're just using grape juice here. I didn't want to risk it with some grapes from a store that may or may not taste good. So here I'm mixing in one of the first chemicals, cleaning off here all of our utensils before we use them. Just want to make sure that we have a nice clean environment. If not, if any bacteria gets in there, unwanted bacteria, obviously there are good bacteria too, the yeast that are going to come later and ferment, but if anything bad gets in there right now, it could completely ruin the wine, just turn moldy and nasty. So here we are just stirring that in with a little bit of water at first. So it's going to be about a 1-to-1 ratio here. It'll all be in the directions, the wine to water ratio. And one thing I did try, so I had a lid for one of these jugs. You can find these on Amazon. They're really not that expensive. These plastic, like 6.5-gallon tubs. So I was drilling it with a drill, and I was going to try and make a hole and put one of the stoppers in it. Eventually, you'll see later, we do put our wine in it initially, but we just transferred it over to the carboy. You'll see people talk about secondary and primary fermentation vessels online, but it really doesn't matter. As long as it's in a vessel that's airtight, that can ferment with not a lot of air at the top, it should be okay. So here we're adding some more water and getting the wine juice ready. So very careful not to spill it here. Just picking up the entire thing and putting it in our jug here. So we're going to have about 23 liters by the time it's all said and done. So get about 30 bottles of wine. You'll see here at the end. It's pretty sweet. And it does take quite a while, but the actual fermentation process that we left it in this container for only lasted about a month or two. You can do it longer. A lot of people recommend leaving it in like a bigger container to help it ferment and age. But again, we're just having fun with this, trying it. You can see we even have videos up there in the backgrounds, like trying to learn how to do this. We have the French oak chips they gave us for flavor. Not sure if you're supposed to directly pour these in, but we just went ahead and did it. We ended up filtering it all out later we rack the wine, so we move it from like one container to another container a few times. You'll see here we're pouring hot water on there too, just to try and activate and get those good smells going. Um, yep. Okay, so then here, what I was talking about a little bit ago, we have the wine in this container, and it was getting a bit full and precarious, so we're like, we're just going to move it over to this carboy we got. Initially, we were thinking we are going to keep it in the container we have it in right now at first and let it ferment in there for the first stage and then rack it to the carboy, but we ended up just putting it in the carboy and then transferring it out, cleaning the carboy and putting it back in the carboy down there on the ground. You can see here the siphon at work. That's pretty cool. We really enjoyed that. We just literally clip it to the side there, and it has a little stopper on the bottom, so later on that'll be really helpful. You won't suck up all the uh, sediment that settles down to the bottom of the container. So we just let it go there for a while. And now here you can see we're checking our specific gravity. So it's marked on the side there. And whatever number it starts with initially, at the end, once it's all fermented out, it should go to 0.99 or 1. So you can see here we ended up with, it's floating there pretty well. It's like 10 or 11% alcohol in the end per the calculation. But depending on what specific gravity meter you get, you can determine that. It's pretty straightforward. And then here you can see we're messing around with the drill. So we're just attaching it to a normal drill there, Black & Decker, and then sticking it in there, moving it up and down. This is so much better. There are certain periods of time where you have to stir the wine for quite a while to get everything in there. And you can see those French oak chips in there. Again, not sure if they should just be in there. I've seen other people just put them in a bag in there. Now you can see we are putting the one-way airlock on there, making sure it's pushed down all the way. What I didn't realize was our carboy is plastic, which is much more affordable, but when you pick it up, it actually presses the wine and moves the amount of air in there and can make it bubble up. Okay, so now we're jumping ahead here to when we're racking the wine. So this is about a month later. And depending on your kit, it could be more or less. And then here you can see with the specific gravity meter, you have to make sure there's enough wine in there or it'll just sit on the bottom. So now we finally got it right. We didn't have a big error there. So it went to about 0.99. It's kind of hard to see there, or 1. So all of that sugar that was initially in there when you saw it floating earlier in the video has gone away. And it's now settling down there to, yep, 0.99, perfect. So that means it all fermented and we have alcohol now. Not that it tastes great. And there you can see the sediment we're talking about. A lot of that's the chips, but there is also that thicker guck that we're getting out of the wine. So we're going to clean that carboy and we're going to rack it back. So yeah, there we go. 14 days was the first time we're doing it. And then you can see below it said clearing. So we're going to add some more chemicals. Some people don't do it. They just let their wine sit and get all that sediment out of there. Again, we're just using a juice. We're doing this for our first time. We're not being super particular about it. So, yep, here we go. Racking it out and get the siphon going. Gotta be really careful here not to spill any of it. It can get a little crazy, the siphon jumping all over the place. But once you get it flowing, it goes pretty well. So, looking good there. And at this point, we do need to rack it one more time after the clearing process. So yeah, I ended up racking it about 2 or 3 different times. Awesome. And now that we have it all in there, couldn't quite fit it in 1, so we just put it in 2, which is totally fine, or another container, whatever you have. So now that we've racked it, cleaned the carboy, gonna put it back in there, skip ahead here, and now we're adding this clearing agent that they gave us as part of our kit, and we're just going to give that a good stir in there. You have to read the kit carefully and make sure you add the packs in the right order, depending on what kit you get. This one had 2 packs that we had to add in a specific order. You can see there's some sulfite, and then this one, so you had to add one day and one the next day, and if you don't do it right, then it won't properly clear the wine. And you'll see what that is at the end. You should be able to like see through the bottle a little bit. Not obviously clear, but it shouldn't be cloudy, so you can't even see any light or anything through the other side. And again, rinsing off all of our tools there. It's a little difficult to clean the some of them. But there we go with the drill, just giving it another good stir. And now we're jumping ahead here again, another month almost at this point, and we're using the siphon with this little thingy that we got on Amazon. We'll have links to all this in the description, but this allows us to fill the bottles. So it sits on the bottom of the bottle, and just by lifting it up, it'll stop the siphon. Just pause it and lock it. See? I pull it out, and if I want to add a little bit more, I just press it against the side there, and when I press the bottom tip, it drops it in. So we want to add as much wine as we can, but leaving room for the cork because we want to minimize air, because this wine, at this point it's only like a few months old, so it needs to continue to age quite a bit. So you can see all these bottles of wine at this point. It's a ton of wine. We're getting our corker. Not the best at this, not the best corker. People use floor corkers, which are way more expensive and way better, of course. But you see some of these corks are not all the way in, but they're in enough. They're stopping all the air. It's not the most beautiful. But then we went ahead and we're adding these tin foils to the top. We just did some boiling water and dipped them in there. And you can see it sucks right onto there. Beautiful. Let it sit for a few seconds, pull it out, and it looks actually pretty darn good. We were pretty happy with that. So hope you all have enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. You can see all of our stickers on there. We ended up putting a few stickers on there for like 5, 10, 15, 20 years just to try it out later on. We tried some right now. It definitely has a little bit of aging to do. No, this wasn't the most technical video, but I watched a lot of really technical videos on YouTube, and we tried our best to make it work for ourselves. So again, hope you enjoyed it. I know we did. There's our cat right there, Lucky. So please subscribe for more if you enjoy watching our content. We'll catch you in the next one. All right, bye.